Thank you very much, guys. Actually, I just flew in from San Francisco and talking about a weird phenomena. I left with snow in our hills. I land here, West Lafayette, Indiana, 80 degrees, March. Unbelievable. I think this is the best kept secret for spring break going forward. This is Purdue Beach. You guys, new business opportunity right here. You're living it. Where there's a will, there's a way. Follow your heart. It's unbelievable. I've never met Jason. I've never heard the talk that preceded me. But it's amazing how a lot of the same DNA that you find in people that are builders, there's a commonality. And a lot of the same themes that you heard in Jason's talk are underlying in my talk. I think the best way to kind of get an insight on where there's a will, there's a way, is kind of look at my life journey, where I've had a will, I've continued to find a way, and I've been following my heart. So I'm a corn-fed kid from Indiana. I'm originally from Indianapolis. I'm the surprise or mistake in my family, depending how you look at it. I have 3 older sisters, and I'm 10 years younger than my youngest sister. And my whole family are physicians, or they're related to the medical field. And when I was born, I have really different DNA. I visited the hospital with my father and actually passed out when I saw blood. So I've always been going to my own drumbeat, following my own heart, and I've always been a builder. I've always had an interest. When I was a kid, I was building a Twinkie sales business. That probably dates me right there by saying that. Had a big lawn mowing business, built different types of, from soapboxes to hovercrafts and everything in between. Had a lot of loose screws in my head. Never really sure what I wanted to do when I grew up, but I knew I wanted to build something. I also had an interest in math and science, so what other better institution to go for an unbelievable education and engineering degree? So I came to here, West Lafayette, Indiana, to go to Purdue University. And while I was here, one of the things that I've always done is I like trying things. I'll try everything. I like to learn. I like to experiment. And as Jason said in his talk, a lot of this, it's looking back, it's much more clear to me what I was doing at the time. It's just as important to understand what you like doing as knowing what you don't like doing. And so I co-opted, I interned a lot. I got involved with Engineering Student Council, which I loved. But there were some of the co-ops that I didn't like. But one of the internships that I really enjoyed was when I interned as a sales engineer. And I really loved that position. That was very interesting to me. And I was like, you know what? I'm not still exactly sure what I want to do when I grow up, but I'm going to look for a position like that when I graduated. So I went to a company called Trane. It's one of the largest commercial air conditioning companies in the world, and went to work as a sales engineer, as a 100% commercial sales engineer. And so in that kind of environment, you kind of live and die by the sword. You're either good and you can do well, or you can't put food on the table. So fortunately, it went well for me, and I built a substantial team that supported my efforts in supplying air conditioning equipment to a lot of the hyper-growth companies. I also, in parallel, I not only followed my career interests when coming out of Purdue and following my heart and my interests, but also the environment I wanted to be in. Prior to being born, my father was at Stanford Medical Center out in the San Francisco Bay Area. So I traveled out there quite a bit when I was a kid, and I just loved it. The Bay Area, I'm a big outdoors person. So for any of you guys that have been out to the West Coast, Best Coast, our weather is normally phenomenal. You can go skiing, windsurfing, mountain biking all in the same day. You've got a lot of nutheads from all over the world, doesn't matter their race, religion, ethnicity, that have come with a dream to build something great in Silicon Valley. And that's the exact DNA that I'm made up of. And so I kind of found my homeland by going to the Silicon Valley area. So 2 things that happened: came out of Purdue, went to work at Trane Company, and moved to the Silicon Valley area. As I was working for Trane and building my sales group that supported a lot of the companies like Intel and Hewlett-Packard and the like, I quickly learned that a lot of their big customers were not buying from Trane, they were buying from my team because we provided service. When they told us to jump, it was how high. And also, a lot of these companies were growing exponentially internationally. And we built a reputation of, if they had a project in Penang, Malaysia, we'd hop on a plane and go to Penang, Malaysia. If they had a project in Israel, we'd go to Israel, go to Ireland, wherever it was like on a plane constantly. And so that's where I got exposed to my next kind of passion and following my heart. I love international business. I love different cultures. I love going to, whether it be Nepal or to Buenos Aires. It's just like amazing places. And I highly recommend to each and every one. If you guys don't have a passport, get a passport. That's the most valuable asset you can ever have in your whole life, other than a child. And so, unbelievable experience. Well, as I learned that the customers were buying from our group, and so I thought, hey, let's leave Train and start our own company. So that was my first real company. I left Train, started a company called Sandium that did a lot of the similar things, but then we did a joint venture with a German manufacturer and a Chinese manufacturer that just reinforced the travel experience coupled with bringing the top manufacturers of the world to the North American marketplace. And built that business from the ground up, got it funded and so forth, and learned a lot through that journey. In parallel, built a ton of relationships with the venture capital community in the Silicon Valley, private equity, and a lot of other entrepreneurs, and actually started dreaming a lot bigger. It's like, wow, it's amazing what you can do when you follow your heart, you're passionate about something, and when you're passionate about something, it's not work anymore. One of the common threads I've seen with all of my friends that have built great businesses is they work a ton. But it's not work when you're doing what you're passionate about. It's like what you'd be doing if you do it for free, that's exactly what you should be doing. And fortunately, my whole life, I've been doing things that I would do for free, and they've turned out to work okay because I was put everything, my heart and soul, into that process. So as I was building that air conditioning business, I thought, hey, I want to try to build a $1 billion business and go after another part of my passion since a kid, and that was to build an airline. I know that sounds crazy, but ever since I was a kid, and then since I travel so much, I always felt there could be a better airline in the world. So I had someone, I turned over the reins of my air conditioning business to someone else, and actually tried to raise a ton of money to start a new airline. And through that process, I met a ton of CEOs, a lot of big airlines. I met a lot of the more private equity guys. And what I learned in that process, one is, hey, Art, you know how the quickest way to become a millionaire is to be a billionaire and invest in an airline. That's a telling statement. They said, but what we like about you, Art, is you've got some crazy passion and some crazy energy. And there's a part of your business plan that talks about how to optimize the revenue for unsold premium seats, like first class seats on a plane, business class seats. And they said, if you do that business, we'll fund you. So that's what I did. So Nor1 was born. It's an internet company. Actually, we focused at the beginning more in the hospitality space. Selling the premium hotel rooms at a great value to consumers, and very proud. We've had crazy growth. Now we have north of 100 team members. Our lead investors include Goldman Sachs and Excel, which is a major shareholder of Facebook and Groupon. We're doing business in over 70 countries, 30 plus currencies. When you book at any Hilton, Hyatt, Intercontinental, all the major hotel groups, it's our business intelligence analytics in the back end for the upselling process. And it's just been an unbelievable journey. And needless to say, I'm actually very proud of our team. This is some of our team at a recent event in Silicon Valley, bowling. And so why am I sharing this journey with you guys? Is going from Purdue to the West Coast to then basically my home being the plane is where I live globally. I'm like a global nomad. To, starting an airline, to then working in the hospitality industry, pretty interesting journey. And that segues into a saying that's had huge impact on me during my life. And it's a saying from a gentleman that you probably all know, Mahatma Gandhi. And I think the first sentence, live as if you were to die tomorrow. Huge, huge thing. What I ask myself every day, if I was only going to live for 24 more hours, and I challenge each and every one of you, if I could see because this light wasn't so bright, and look in each and every one of you guys' eyes, think to yourself, if I was only to live for 24 hours, who would I spend that time with, and what would I be doing? And what comes to your mind immediately? If you got to think about it, or you're debating about a friend, if you really like him or not, or a significant other you don't know, they don't make the cut. You just immediately, I'm a big believer, circles go in circles, squares go in squares. I accomplish a ton of stuff when I'm right in the rhythm and I'm right speaking from my heart. And a lot of it is being able to listen to your heart. How do you listen to your heart? How do you listen to that little voice inside of you? Because there's so much noise around you at all times. You have your classes, you have your exams, there's all this. You have mom and dad that have their agenda, they're loving people, they're great, but they're different than you. But how do you listen to that heart from within? And I challenge you, if you're going to live for 24 hours, how would I spend it? So how do I spend it? I have a 10-year-old daughter. I'm crazy close to her. My last 24 hours, had a barbecue with her and we watched the Titanic. I'm also super close to my parents. My parents are over 80 years old. They live close to me. They drove me to the airport. And mom gives me a little letter. Hey, go look at the TEDx conference. Like, really cool stuff. Friends. I'm really big on friends. Extremely honored. I have two special guests today. One, Jesus Carminate, that flew in from Miami, that was my Purdue roommate. And then Suze Goodrich, who's also here with me, that was a high school friend of mine from North Central, but now is a physician, and actually she got me highly involved with a lot of philanthropic endeavors, specifically in Kenya, Africa. Both of them are amazing people, and there's no greater gift that they could give to me by being here today. So friendship is very important. My business, I love my business. Right before the talks here today, I've been talking to some of the local businesses as far as not outsourcing in India, but outsourcing to West Lafayette, Indiana. And so, being able to build those types of relationships have been extremely fun for me. And then on top of it, I love travel, and so I got to fly here. So, I gain a lot out of my creativity thinking, like what Jason was thinking, when I'm in that plane seat looking out at the clouds. So I'm big on traveling. But I highly, highly recommend that you guys challenge yourself that, what gets you up in the morning and how would you spend your next 24 hours if you're going to die tomorrow? And what I'm very, very happy to share is, God forbid if I were to die today, I've lived today exactly the way I've been wanting to live my life. And being able to talk to you guys today and share some of the knowledge and wisdom that I've gained, that's why I come back to Purdue a lot, is I see us all together in this planet, all kind of working together and trying to make 1 and 1 make 11. And so it's exactly how I want to spend my life. And the other part of it, learn as if you were lived forever. Keep trying things. Get involved. Everything, from whether it be music, art, science, whatever, keep trying things because this is how you learn about yourself. And this is how really incredible things can happen. I wish you guys all the best. Love you guys. Thank you.